Se você tá assistindo isso aqui, quer dizer que oficialmente você pode assistir os 13 primeiros episódios de Os Thundermans Disfarçados no Paramount Plus. E é claro que pra comemorar, eu quis fazer uma coisa muito especial. Eu já tinha pensado em fazer isso desde o princípio, assim que o episódio dirigido pela Kira saísse no Brasil. E, curiosamente, o episódio vai sair direto na Paramount, depois que vai sair na Nickelodeon. Então eu tive a oportunidade de fazer esse vídeo, que se tornou rapidamente o meu vídeo preferido aqui no canal, e eu espero que seja o vídeo preferido de vocês também. Essa collab extremamente especial, onde a gente falou tanto sobre o percurso de Os Thundermans no Brasil, mas principalmente da direção, de como é dirigir um episódio de TV e tudo sobre esse episódio que eu considero o melhor da série até agora, mesmo eu sendo suspeita pra falar. É isso, eu espero que vocês aproveitem. Eu só queria fazer uma introzinha. Assistam e me digam o que vocês acham no comentário. How are you?
I'm so good. Let's do it.
So, as you know, Thundermans is a hit in Brazil in many, many ways. It was the most watched Nickelodeon show of the 2010s, and then it was the most watched afternoon TV show for like 2 years. And it like the Thundermans Return was number one on Paramount Plus for 2 weeks here. And like the original show was trending number 9 a few weeks ago. I was like, insane. Do you feel like the love from the Brazilian fans is different both online and when you came here?
I mean, no, because I feel like the love from Brazilian fans is just amazing all the time. Like, Brazilian fans are the best. Y'all have a reputation for being the best for a reason. Going was amazing, though. It was really awesome to get to finally meet so many people in person. Yeah, we love the Brazilian fans. Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely felt the vibe was completely, I don't want to say unexpected, but I was surprised on Comic Con for like the vibe, everyone just like going crazy. It was,
Yeah, I wasn't. I was expecting it to be crazy because I read my comments and I see how many like come to Brazil comments I get. So I had a feeling I guess I didn't know how insane it was going to be, but I had a feeling it was going to be pretty legit. So I wasn't super surprised, but I had a great time. I know. I
it
mean,
was like,
I hope we get to go back another because once is not enough. I mean, I guess technically I've now been twice because I also came for the Kids' Choice Awards in Brazil in like 20 I don't know,
14.
2014.
Yeah.
Um, but I love that you know that and I didn't. But yeah, I would love to go back again with like more notice so that people can come.
Okay, so going to the Thundermans Undercover, we know that the show going on streaming means a lot of people will watch it for the first time because obviously when you watch on TV, you have to have like a specific time. What do you think people should know before watching the show for the first time?
Ooh, good question. Like fans who watch the original show, you mean?
Yeah.
I guess I would tell them that like it is still the Thundermans. It is different in some key ways, but like don't freak out. Like the whole family does come throughout the season. Like it's Max and Phoebe and Chloe with a couple of new main characters, but like mom and dad show up, Billy shows up, Nora shows up, and like we do go back to Hiddenville. So this is just like it's an adventure that the Thundermans go on. So just go along for the ride, come to Secret Shores with us, enjoy being in a new town and having like new sets. Because it is still like Phoebe and Max are still very much Phoebe and Max, and I think it still does really feel like the original Thundermans. But like just be prepared that it also does have a different energy to it because it's a different town and kind of a different adventure. But like just it is still very much Thunderman. So I hope that you enjoy the ride. But there's really not much that I would say except for just like if you like the original show, just like go in with an open mind for a new chapter and I hope that you enjoy it. I think you will.
Yeah. I feel like the show, in a way, when people ask, like on the 7 years you weren't exactly on the show, people ask where would Phoebe be right now, and like you wouldn't answer just sitting at home in Hiddenville doing nothing. So the fact that she's going on an adventure, it makes sense.
Yeah, totally, totally. I feel like Phoebe and Max are in the right place right now. It's not, I don't think it's one of those spin-offs where, you see the characters 10 years later and you're like, come on, that's not what they would be doing. Like, I feel like everybody is doing what they would totally be doing. Um,
Okay, do you feel like the show is more bingeable or just like it works better as a weekly show? Because it started as a weekly show, but now it's like on
No,
streaming you get to watch.
it's definitely bingeable. I mean, it's not like one of those shows where each episode ends with a cliffhanger. Like those are the most bingeable. These are very much like self-contained episodes, so you can watch one or watch a bunch. Definitely bingeable, and also I hope people binge it when it goes on streaming because that will make us more likely to be able to do more. So if you want a season two, then the more episodes you
Yeah.
watch, the better chance we have. Yeah.
I actually have the habit of watching whenever a new episode comes out, I watch it 3 times. I don't know why I do this. I do the same thing with Bob's Burgers. I don't know
Huh.
why I have to watch it 3 times.
Once to
Like,
understand what's going on, another to actually understand it, and a third just for comfort.
yeah,
Are you also the kind of person who likes to just like know what's going to happen? Because I am. I like
yeah,
watching, especially with like sitcoms, like shows that are meant to be comforting. I like to just like know it's going to be okay.
yeah. And I also use like the shows as background when I'm
Right.
working. So there's always the show where I have to like watch multiple times because I already know what's going on. Like The Big Bang Theory, I've watched like probably 50 times all the way
Right.
through because it's just like there.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I had, like a cable box that would like record episodes, which very few people have now, even though I guess they still do exist. And I would record Big Bang Theory, but there was like a 2 or 3 month period where I something went wrong with my cable box and I couldn't like record any new episodes. And so I just had the same 3 episodes of Big Bang and I watched them like, I don't know, probably like 30 times each because this was pre-streaming. And I think to this day, if you put on one of those episodes, I think I would like activate like a sleeper agent and probably still know every single word. One of them was Rock, Paper, Scissors, Lizard, Spock, which I like can still do because it was just on the background of my TV like for 2 months straight. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. Okay. So going to the episode you've directed, which is perfect, by the way. I love
You.
it so much.
Wait, I should.
Yeah, perfect.
It
It actually matches my shirt.
does.
Stop.
It's the exact same font. I love it.
Okay. How would you describe it to people with no spoilers?
The
Like,
episode?
let's actually talking to people who watch like all the way to episode 11 and are going to watch next episode. How would you describe it?
Um, I mean, the main thing I would just say is it's Principal Bradford comes back, and obviously Max has been acting as the vice principal, and just watching the two of them go head to head in I don't want to say anything else, but watching the two of them together is really, really funny and something I really enjoy directing. It's sort of, you actually pointed out, and I think you're totally right. It's sort of like a new version or like a sister episode to the old prank war episodes that we used to have. Except Phoebe is not involved in the pranking. It's somebody else who I won't spoil. But yeah, I don't think I would say much. Just try to, just enjoy.
Yeah, Phoebe's busy trying to take care of an egg because why
He was
not?
busy trying to take care of an egg because Kira had to be in 2 episodes at once and directing one of them. And so we had to split my scenes away from Jack. It's why it wasn't a usual like Phoebe and Max episode. We had to find a way for Phoebe to sort of jump between the storylines rather than it being like Phoebe and Max and Chloe and her friends or like Phoebe, Max, Chloe and the friends like it usually is. Um, Phoebe and the egg. It's a good time.
Talk to me about prep because you had triple duty on this
Yeah.
episode because you were acting, directing, and producing.
Yeah, so it was really interesting. So in the like 2 or 3 weeks leading up to that episode filming, we were filming 2 episodes a week. So while we were filming all those episodes, anytime I was on set and I had a moment where I wasn't actively filming, I would pull out like the early version of the script for my episode, which it wasn't finished, but it was like, a version of the script, and I would block the scenes while actually standing in the sets, which was really helpful for me. Because because I'm an actor, um, I can block the scenes from the perspective of the camera, but I also can and kind of prefer sometimes to block them from the perspective of the actor, like inside the set. So, or even just being able to stand and look at the set head on while blocking made it easier for me because in my head, I see the sets from inside. And as a director, you have to obviously see them from the camera perspective. So blocking out the scenes and the camera shots and like planning everything in my head on the set was really helpful and like cool. It was also, of course, really confusing to be like thinking of 6 episodes in my head at one time. But that was the prep period. And then we also scheduled it so that there would be a week off the week before my episode. a week off, meaning we weren't filming, but we were doing pre-production, which was really, really helpful to get some of the stuff done in advance that otherwise would have had to happen on the week, which we couldn't do because I was in the other episode. And then yeah, just the actual execution of it was just, I just tried to turn all parts of my brain on and just make it work. I also like started memorizing my lines for being in both episodes in advance. Even though the script changes, I still find it easier to memorize a version and then memorize the changes than to like wait and memorize from scratch. So I started memorizing my lines earlier too, so that by the time I actually got to set, they were kind of in my head a little and I could really focus on directing. And when I called action, the words just kind of came out of my mouth. It was crazy though. I gotta say, like directing for the fact that my first time directing was while also acting was crazy. And a lot of actors who become directors, that is their first experience. And everyone who I've talked to is like, this is an insane way to do this for the first time because it is the hardest in your whole career. It's the hardest directing you'll ever have to do is while you're also in it. It's crazy that that's the one you start with, but we did it.
Also feel like your brain really works for like doing all of that stuff at once. Your brain scares me, like in the best way, but it does.
My brain scares me too. Yeah, 100%. No, it definitely did. It suited my style of thinking for sure.
I saw one kid ask if Jack knew beforehand who the prankster was, and actually, I was thinking if in this particular production, because of how things ran, you had the control to do something like that. Because we always hear of like directors hid like parts of the script, but I know the rhythm is different.
Not with this. There would be no reason to. On a production like this, everyone needs to know what's happening 100% of the time. We're filming things incredibly out of order. We're rehearsing things out of order. We also have one day of rehearsal to rehearse two unrelated episodes, and then 4 days where we're filming both of those episodes at one time and going back and forth from scene to scene. So everyone needs to know what's going on. And honestly, at the beginning of every scene, Jack is like, okay, what is this? What scene is this? What show is like, just trying to figure out like what's happening? Like what universe are we in? Because when you're filming two episodes at one time, you're like, wait, who are we fighting? What happened already? Like that's so he needs to know like what's happening and what his character does or doesn't know at that moment. So yeah, he knew who the prankster was. Because also like we have a table read where we all read the whole script and then we have rehearsals and we used to have run-throughs, which we don't anymore. But yeah, no, he definitely knew. And when anyone's getting messy, they have to know for safety. And there's no surprises. I'm trying to think if there's ever been an instance where we've done something. We've done the only surprises that we have done is we've given actors punchlines and not told the other actor in the scene just to see if we can make them break because it's funny. But it's never anything bigger than like, saying, oh, Chris, go for a high five at the end and we won't tell Kira, things like that, like little things.
Can you change a joke like last minute according with what is happening?
Yeah. So there's writers on set whose job is to give alts after you get what's scripted a couple of times. They'll pitch alternate jokes just to have options or if something comes up. As an actor on our show, typically you are not allowed to change lines, but because I'm also an executive producer, I am. So if there's a line that needs to change, I'll go to the showrunners, who are the other executive producers, and we'll discuss. So for example, in Prank You Next, like I think, change one line where, so early in the episode, there was that line about drinks where I say, that kid's a dropper in the cold open. Later on in the school scene, there's a moment where Jinx trips and Max originally had a different line. And we were like, no, I was like, no, it should be the same. It should be that kid's a dropper. Like, yeah. And Jack had the same idea at the same time. Like, I remember us both being like, that should be that other line, right? We pitched it and they were like, oh yeah, that makes so much more sense. Like it was such a perfect moment for a callback. So we do switch things now and then. But yeah, it just depends. On this show, because we get so little rehearsal because we're on such an accelerated schedule, we do pitch alternate jokes while we're filming. In the olden days, we had already usually done so many rewrites and rehearsals and blah, 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 that by the time we were filming, everyone kind of knew exactly what it needed to be. So, yeah.
I was going to make a comment. I feel like you have a lot of power in this show. And that's one of the reasons why I like the show so much, because everything I hear is like your idea. I'm like,
thank you. Okay. If you like it, it was my idea. And if you don't like it, it wasn't. No, yeah, it is really nice. It's a really rare opportunity to get to be in a show and also be able to like be part of the creation of the show. Um, I really enjoy it. So yeah, I'm glad that you feel that way. Thank you.
Okay, so the next few questions are actually about directing.
Cool.
Do you feel like directing with a live studio audience would be more or less stressful for you? You have the chance to do that.
I mean, I would love to direct with a live audience. I'm glad that it's not what I did for my first time because I think that would have been like a lot to focus on. But I think it'll be great. I think I'll lock in and I think I'll feed off of their energy. I mean, I know as an actor, I love performing in front of the live audience. So I think that that would probably translate as a director as well. But as an actor, you get to act and then they call cut and then I can kind of like dance and like enjoy the music and like wave to people and kind of interact in between takes. As a director, most of my work is happening between takes, like talking to the other people in Video Village and like giving notes and stuff. But I don't know. I know myself. I think the feeling of being watched would just make me like lock in even more. And like, I think it would be a really fun time.
Yeah, we still root for the multicam sitcom renaissance. I feel like you.
I'm trying, man. It'll happen at some point. I mean, look, I'm working on this show right now, and so I'm limited in how much other development I'm able to do. But as soon as I'm done working on this show, whether that's in a year or 5 years or whatever, I'm gonna try to develop some more multicams because
Yeah.
I don't want to see it die, and I want them to be good because there are so many bad multicams. I'm sorry. I get why people hate them because there are a lot of really bad ones, but there are some brilliant ones. We got to bring back the good ones.
I feel like growing up like as a teenager, I had a disconnect because a lot of people would talk about like rewatching their favorite sitcoms, and it will normally be single cam. And I didn't realize. I feel like, oh, do I have a bad taste? No, I just prefer multicam.
Sorry.
Every like CBS TV show from like the late, but actually from the beginning of the 2000s until like the end, I've watched it and I loved it and I've rewatched it multiple times. So it's just, I like this.
They were great. I could talk about this forever, but I think that we've lost some of the key elements of sitcom, of multicam, which is that like it is meant to be theatrical. It is meant to be a performance on a stage with a proscenium, fourth wall, and an audience that you can hear reacting. I think that the canned laugh track is really rough. We use it on Thundermans. I wish we didn't, but like it is what it is. We just can't afford to like do either for time or for money to do live audiences. But yeah, I feel like we need to go back to that early 2000s style of like live people in the room, sitcom actors who really understand the craft. Um, yeah, lighting stuff. There's so many. I could talk about this forever. I won't. But yeah, no, I see why people dislike multicam. I do. I see how it can be annoying. I see how it can feel
Yeah.
silly and like not real. But it's when you get like into it, it's can be magical too. You know.
Yeah. Who are people who directed you that you feel inspired by on your work as a director?
Ooh, I definitely feel like I've learned something from every director I've worked with, whether it's like what to do or what not to do. Um, there's one director in particular who I've talked about before named Trevor Kirshner, who did a bunch of the original Thunderman series, and I just always have really loved his style. And I shadowed him years ago, and he really kind of took me under his wing as a mentor. And now is kind of a mentor of mine in work and life, and is just a wonderful, wonderful guy who I absolutely love working with. He was there on Thunderman's Undercover and really did a lot of helping me just get my confidence up. I kept kind of going to him and being like, prep me, help. And he kind of, a lot of it was just him being like, you know what you're doing. Like you've already done all the work. Like you just got to trust yourself. And it was really nice to like have him there for that. Because he has already taught me so many things and I've already learned so much from just being around so many wonderful directors. So shout out Trevor. He's awesome. And I'm really, really grateful to have like a mentor in that department because it's a really scary thing that like you can't really practice for. You kind of just the first time you do it, you're doing it and you're, one of the people in charge of a multi-million dollar production. And if things go wrong, it's all your fault. So it was nice to have that moral support and actual teaching.
Are there any jokes that make the director's cut and got exit in the end? And if yes, who do I talk to get a director's cut?
Actually, no. Which I was really like pleased with. There were no cuts. The final cut was almost exactly the same as my director's cut, which I was really pleased with and kind of surprised by, but made me feel great. Made me feel like I gave them a product that they were happy with, which they said they were, but it was nice to just have that extra confirmation. I will say they almost cut my camera zoom out at the very end with Principal Bradford's sneezes because they said that it felt like it was maybe too similar to something that happened in a different episode that I think we shot after, but it aired out of order. But then they ended up changing it in that episode so that they could keep it in mind. And they were like, good. They emailed me like right before it came out and they were like, good news, we were able to get your shot back in. I was like, yay. And I love that shot. It's like my favorite shot in the episode. So I'm glad that I made it in, but it almost didn't.
I love it too. I'm also glad it made it in, and I'm also
Thank
glad
you.
it made it in on your episode.
It's fun, right? It's such a fun little moment. It's silly. Like it wouldn't have made been the end of the world if it didn't. It would have been fine, but it was something I was proud of. And it was like one of the few things that really just came up from like an idea I had and not something that was just me interpreting the script. And so I just, as my first time, I just wanted like put a little stamp on it, you know?
Very good. Another thing that I feel like it was like, at least for the episodes that have come out so far, is the shots on like the kitchen and on Splats because it's a different angle and it feels like we're inside the set. And
Yeah,
it
you
really
are.
reminded me of like every single time you've talked about how being on the set reminds you of like your adolescence in your life and not exactly like the show. So if it did feel like you were taking the camera and just like guiding us through the
Right,
set.
right. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Like I did probably come up with those shots because I see the set in my mind from inside the set. And so it made sense to me to like have a shot be from inside the set through the window looking at the boys and like looking it was really nice to be able to like utilize the set in a slightly different way. I really enjoyed shooting at the splat window too. I hope that if we go back we get to use that again because it was really cute.
Yeah. I love the both those moments. When I was actually rewatching, I think like for the third time. That's why I rewatched it three times. I noticed it and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool because it does feel like we're inside the set.
I mean,
For
you literally are. Like we rolled the dolly into the kitchen and yeah, you were in the set.
I love that so much. And finally, if you could pick any other episode of the season to direct, which one would you pick? It can be one that hasn't aired yet, as long as you like only share what you want to share and like
Okay.
tease us.
Yeah, I think I know what to answer. So I will say my episode, coincidentally, I think probably also because of my timing as an actor, didn't have any fighting, didn't have any like superhero fight scenes, which was probably nice for my first episode. And again, while I was also acting in both, like it was nice to not have that whole other side of things that could be really time consuming. But I would like to, do a scene with fun shots and stunt choreography and all of that. That being said, the answer that I'm going to give you is one of our other rare few episodes where I don't think there's any fighting, which is an episode that hasn't aired yet, but is coming out relatively soon, I think, where two characters that you wouldn't expect to get married get married. And that's all I'm going to say.
Oh
Yeah,
my god.
it's a crazy episode. It was really funny, and I think I would have had a lot of fun directing that episode in terms of like the comedy of it, because that's my favorite bits. That's a crazy episode. I can't wait for it to come out.
Oh my god. No, I need to watch it. I was
Yeah.
trying to like tease people and now I'm the curious one.
Sorry. I actually have a vlog, like a day in the life vlog. I have two. I have that I shot on different days, a horizontal and a vertical, that I shot that week that I haven't been able to post yet because I'm waiting for that episode to air. So I'm excited for that episode to come out for a few reasons.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna is there anything else you wanna say? Like
No, I don't
before I
think
finish
so.
recording? Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna finish.